5728, which is true concerning a running takeoff. A. If a helicopter cannot be lifted vertically, a running takeoff should be made. B. One advantage of a running takeoff is that the additional airspeed can be converted quickly to altitude. C. A running takeoff may be possible when gross weight or density altitude prevents a sustained hover at normal hovering altitude. The correct answer is C. When the helicopter is heavily loaded or operating in high-density altitude conditions, the performance may be reduced, making it challenging to maintain a sustained hover at the normal hovering altitude. In such cases, a running takeoff allows the helicopter to utilize the additional forward airspeed to generate lift and overcome these limitations. 5729. When conducting a confined area-type operation, the primary purpose of the high reconnaissance is to determine the A. Power requirements for the approach. B. Suitability of the area for landing. C. Amount of slope in the landing area. The correct answer is B. During a confined area-type operation, conducting a high reconnaissance involves flying over the landing area at a higher altitude to assess its suitability for landing. The primary purpose of the high reconnaissance is to determine the suitability of the area for landing the helicopter safely. 5730. During a Pinnacle approach under conditions of high wind and turbulence, the pilot should make A. Shallow approach, maintaining a constant line of descent with cyclic applications. B. Normal approach, maintaining a slower than normal rate of descent with cyclic applications. C. Steeper than normal approach, maintaining the desired angle of descent with collective applications. The correct answer is C. When there are barriers in the approach path that are too high to allow a standard approach, a steep approach is typically used. Most limited spaces can be entered with ease using a steep approach, which is also occasionally employed to avoid turbulent areas near pinnacles. 5731. What type approach should be made to a pinnacle under conditions of relatively high wind and turbulence? A. A normal approach. B. A steeper than normal approach. C. A shallower than normal approach. The correct answer is B. When approaching a pinnacle under conditions of relatively high wind and turbulence, it is recommended to make a steeper than normal approach. This approach technique helps to counteract the effects of the wind and turbulence and allows for better control and maneuverability during the landing. By choosing a steeper approach angle, the helicopter can maintain a higher airspeed and greater control authority, which is particularly beneficial in challenging wind and turbulence conditions. The steeper approach helps to mitigate the effects of gusts and wind shear, allowing for a more stable and controlled descent towards the pinnacle. 5732. If turbulence and downdrafts are expected during a pinnacle approach, plan to make A. Steeper than normal approach. B. Normal approach, maintaining a lower than normal airspeed. C. Shallow approach, maintaining a higher than normal airspeed. The correct answer is A. When turbulence and downdrafts are expected during a pinnacle approach, it is advisable to plan and execute a steeper than normal approach. A steeper approach angle allows the helicopter to maintain a higher airspeed, which can provide better control authority and maneuverability, especially in challenging wind and turbulence conditions. By choosing a steeper approach, the helicopter pilot can counteract the effects of turbulence and downdrafts more effectively. The increased airspeed helps to mitigate the impact of downdrafts and maintain a safer margin above the ground, reducing the risk of a sudden loss of altitude.